Democrats tried going nuclear, but it turns out their red button's broken. So they're going with the other N word, Newsom.
What's happening in the United States of America is not normal. We cannot allow this to be considered normal. Please don't say it's surprising. When you say something is no longer surprising, you normalize it. This is shocking.
But Newsom's a humble guy. He doesn't want to be in front of the camera. He has to be, because only he can save America.
It wasn't our decision to be here. It's reaction to. We are trying to defend democracy as opposed to see it destroyed district by district. They drew first blood. We're responding to this action.
Take it easy, Rambo. Newsom saw JB back ribs swallowing up the spotlight and said, "Hold on, big fella. Gav was supposed to have a clear shot at 28. He doesn't need any roadblocks." But Newsom wasn't alone. Pelosi, who he's related to through marriage, are tag teaming with the Texas runaways.
The Republicans are acting because they have bankruptcy of ideas. They have no winning ideas to present to the American people, and they cannot defend their actions legitimately. So they're trying to do it and rig it illegitimately.
Nancy just called you a rigger. That's not very nice. Gerrymandering's legit. It's in the Constitution. What's illegitimate are show trials, impeachments, coups, cover-ups, hoaxes, and the Chinese funny money. Remember the diamonds? This is Pelosi's biggest event since busting a hip. The Wolf of Washington doesn't just pop her head out just for anything. Trump canceled DEI, trans surgeries, and the Green New Deal, and Nancy didn't say diddly. But a bunch of no-names from Texas skedaddled to Illinois over a few battle lines, and that gets her back in the game? Think about it. Pelosi's a vet. She knows there's a lot at stake. This is a lot bigger than maps and lines in Texas. The way this is escalating, this is about a new census and new districts all over. And for the Democrat Party, this is about survival. The chessboard's flipping, and Queen Nancy sees the pieces flying.
It's not wrong in what we're doing. This is self-defense for our democracy. They have hit out at our democracy, and we are here to defend it.
The Queen's not what she used to be. Democrats better think twice before following her into battle. Today, the fight's in Texas, but the war's nationwide. If those runaways had just stayed in Texas and taken the L, this wouldn't have blown up coast to coast. Republicans wouldn't be licking their chops to Jerry the Reds. Now the cat's out of the bag. All the Republicans are doing is fixing the funky numbers.
In fact, we know the 2020 census, the errors were almost always to the detriment of red states. Blue states like Rhode Island.
Do we know that?
We do know that. The Census Bureau's own audit of its work has proven that. Blue states like Rhode Island were overcounted. Rhode Island then didn't lose a seat. Red states like Alabama were undercounted.
Why do these miscounts always hurt Republicans? It's time to even the playing field and boot illegals out of the country and out of the census.
California has way more House seats than it should because they have such a high population of illegal aliens. So they get rewarded for welcoming illegal aliens into their state.
Without juicing the census with illegals, Democrats have no power. Illegals are the engine of the Democrat machine. That's why they scream like toddlers every time a Maryland dad goes adios. They're not protecting families. They're protecting their seats. Now, we have the Supreme Court and usually the Senate. A rigged house is all they have left. They threatened to go nuclear and now want a ceasefire.
I didn't want to take on this fight. I've always followed the rules. Democrats always follow the rules. But when they're willing to do this to subvert our democracy, shame on us if we don't stand up. Of course, they can stop. They want to stop this game. They can stop right now, and we'll stand down as well.
Democrats don't follow the rules. They write new ones when they lose. But now Republicans are the ones with the pen, and the pen's mightier than the sword. The Democrat runaways didn't show up to work again today. In Texas, police are going door to door, but no luck. They're staying out of state. Time to hit them where it hurts, their wallets.
Any member absent for the purpose of breaking quorum will no longer have their paycheck or per diem deposited electronically. Those checks must now be picked up in person on Capitol grounds, effective immediately.
The runaways are stranded out of state without any money. And any assistance they get's considered a bribe under Texas law. They're up Bleeps Creek. Just like the Iranians, Democrats got caught bluffing. Now here comes the bunker buster. We know where they are: in New York with Hochul, in Chicago with baby back ribs, and in California with Greasy and the Wolf. They're goading the Texas Rangers to arrest them. They're dying to get handcuffed so they can call Trump a tyrant. But this is small potatoes. 3 years ago, today, the FBI raided his home and rifled through Melania's underwear. Trump was impeached twice, arrested 4 times, mugshotted, and dragged into an icebox of a courtroom for a show trial in the middle of his campaign. The media tried convincing you he was a criminal. But can you name one crime he committed? No. Democrats thought lawfare would kill him. Instead, it crowned him. Now he's the most powerful man in the world, again, and he hasn't forgotten. For the first time in decades, a Republican president is going on offense. Today, the Justice Department opened a grand jury investigation into Tish James over her fraud case against Trump, the one where she fined him $500 million for taking out a loan that he paid back with interest. Now the tables are turned. Tish is being investigated for violating Trump's constitutional rights. Sources tell Fox the Justice Department believes Tish took Trump to court simply because she didn't like him and made up a crime. She campaigned on arresting him, and she's going to regret it.
There is nothing scarier for a citizen to get a subpoena or find out that they're being investigated by a federal criminal grand jury. It's terrifying, and here's why. Grand jury investigations sweep broadly. They gather terabytes of information, and they're very efficient at going through it. And the problem there for people is that they may be investigating issue number 1 and then stumble across never before known issue number 2.
In a separate case, Bondi just authorized a special prosecutor to investigate allegations that Tish James committed mortgage fraud and whether Adam Schiff did too. Pencil neck's going through the sharpener. When Trump was staring down the possibility of life in prison, Democrats said no one is above the law. And they never questioned the motivation of the prosecution or whether the allegations were sound. Now suddenly they're worried about weaponization.
The president has made no secret of wanting to seek retribution against his adversaries.
This is certainly something that does not have a good look to it when we talk about the DOJ sort of being used as a weaponization.
This reeks of weaponization. This is very alarming. The FBI should not be used to go after the political opponents of the current administration.
Where were they when Obama was spying on Trump and Biden was arresting him? They were cheering his downfall. To them, those were righteous prosecutions because 86ing Trump preserved the status quo, preserved their power. Both Schiff and Tish publicly called their shot, promising to get Trump by any means. But just like Butler, they missed, and Trump's still standing. Did they really not expect Trump to fight back? He got shot in the head, popped up, and yelled, "Fight, fight, fight." It's his whole brand. It's his whole life. Now he's doing exactly what he said he would, ripping out the rot and handing the power back to the people. Democrats spent years stealing your money, opening our borders, shipping away jobs, and indoctrinating and operating on kids. They tried wrecking the country and burning down the one guy who promised to get in the way. Well, it backfired. Now we're 200 days into a historic term. A lot's happened, but the job isn't done. This is the beginning. Trump has to blaze a path of glory for America. And the rascals determined to return us to the old way of doing things aren't going to be tolerated. Democrats don't have any power in Washington. They're divided. They're confused. They're really unpopular. And when you have an opponent who's out on his feet, you knock him down. Democrats are in no position to sue for peace. They started this war, and we'll finish it. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.